They'll tell you hurricane season is the best time to grab a deal. Half-price cruises, empty pools, calm seas. What they won't tell you is how quickly that bargain vacation can morph into a full-blown survival story. Canceled ports, panicked passengers, itineraries rewritten in real time by the weather itself. I learned this the hard way. I'm trapped on a ship that was supposed to be paradise, instead sailing straight into chaos. And after what I saw, you'll never catch me boarding between June and November again. Number 1. The illusion of savings. It always starts with the promise of massive savings. Cruise lines splash hurricane season deals across glossy ads, half-off cabins, free drinks, kids sail free. They frame it like a travel hack. Be brave, book off season, enjoy the same Caribbean at a fraction of the price. And you start to believe it. You tell yourself storms are rare, that modern ships can handle anything. But the truth is, those prices are low for a reason. You're not buying the same cruise at a discount. You're buying a completely different experience. What looks like a bargain is really a calculated gamble. Cruise companies know exactly how to play it. The risk isn't on them, it's on you. Because when those dark clouds roll in, your dream itinerary can vanish overnight. That 5-port adventure, suddenly it's 3 ports, then 2, then maybe none. The ship becomes a floating hotel, drifting wherever the weather allows. And the worst part? You'll have no say in it. The fine print, which we'll get to next, guarantees the company's profits long after your plans are ruined. So yes, you'll save a few hundred on the front end, but when your dream stops become ghost ports and your calm sea turns into 12-foot swells, you'll realize cheap isn't always cheerful. Number 2, the fine print. They don't want you to read. Here's what most cruisers miss. The contract you accept when you book, that long, boring block of legalese, is a fortress built entirely to protect the cruise line, not you. It says in plain text that the company can change your route, cancel ports, delay departures, or cut your trip short for any act of God, which includes hurricanes, and guess what? You get no refund. You might think travel insurance covers it. It doesn't. Most policies exclude weather-related disruptions unless your ship literally never leaves port. You can lose your flights, your prepaid excursions, even your return ticket. And they'll shrug it off as force majeure. This is the moment when passengers go from confident to furious, standing in line at guest services, insurance papers in hand, realizing the system was never built for them. Cruise lines bank on you never reading that fine print. They know most people won't scroll past the first "I agree" button. And that's why you should pause right now. If you've ever been tempted by a hurricane season deal, hit subscribe, because the next segment might literally save you thousands. Number 3, the storm that changed everything. It was supposed to be my great escape. A late summer cruise through the Caribbean. Sun, sand, and sea days. The perfect recharge before hurricane season really picked up. The first few days were everything I hoped for. Calm skies, warm breezes, tropical music by the pool. Then, one morning, I noticed something odd. The horizon looked bruised, the air felt heavy, and the captain's midday announcement was shorter than usual. Just a slight change of itinerary due to weather. That night, the waves started to hit harder. Tables rattled, guests whispered. The staff smiled, that professional cruise line smile. But their eyes told another story. By morning, our next port had been closed. Then, the one after that. We spent 3 straight days at sea, circling nowhere, watching the weather tracker on our TVs like a heartbeat monitor. Every update promised calm ahead. Every hour, the seas grew rougher. I'll never forget walking through the atrium, watching crew tape down furniture as the ship began to tilt with each swell. When we finally docked, it wasn't in our planned destination. It was an emergency reroute, hundreds of miles away. Gray skies, closed shops, no tours running. Half the passengers were seasick. The other half were in line at guest services, demanding answers. Flights home were missed, excursions vanished. And the cruise line? They thanked us for our patience and understanding. That was the moment the illusion shattered. Number 4. Hidden costs no one mentions. You think the pain stops once the storm passes, but hurricane season detours come with invisible price tags. Miss a port? You're not getting that excursion refund in full. There's always processing fees. Need Wi-Fi to rebook flights or contact family? That's $40 a day. Add a few forced sea days, and you'll spend more on internet, drinks, and spa packages than your original fare. Then there's the domino effect. You arrive late, your transfer's gone, your hotel cancels. The cheap cruise you bragged about over cocktails becomes a $2,000 headache. And the cruise line? They're still profiting. Onboard spending skyrockets during reroutes. Bars, shops, the casino, all stay open while you ride out the storm. The longer you're trapped on board, the more you spend. That's not an accident. It's a business model. Number 5. The psychological trap of weather guarantees. Now, cruise lines are smart. They know the word hurricane scares people, so they wrap comfort in clever branding. Weather guarantee, vacation protection, peace of mind program. Sounds reassuring, right? Except these programs rarely guarantee anything. Here's the trick. They'll credit your fare only if the cruise is canceled outright. If your itinerary changes because of a storm, no refund. If your trip's cut short, maybe a small voucher. They even use psychology to soften the risk. The term protection makes you feel safe, like there's a shield between you and nature. But the fine print turns that shield into a marketing illusion. You think you're covered, you're not. So next time you see hurricane protection included, read the details. It might just mean we'll try not to ruin your vacation entirely. Number 6. Port chaos when the world closes around you. What most people don't realize is how fast the cruise ecosystem collapses during a storm. Ports close like dominoes. Tender boats, those smaller shuttles that ferry you to shore, are the first to shut down. When a hurricane warning hits, every ship in the region scrambles for safe harbor. Suddenly, multiple megaships are competing for a handful of open docks. It's maritime musical chairs, and not everyone gets a seat. Imagine waking up expecting turquoise water and white sand, and instead staring out at gray waves while the captain announces, "We're holding position until further notice." Supplies run tight. Excursions get canceled. Crew members are stretched to the limit, managing restless passengers. And with Wi-Fi barely functional, you're effectively cut off. People start pacing the decks, checking radar apps, whispering rumors. It feels less like a vacation, and more like a lockdown at sea. The ports that do remain open are overwhelmed. Hundreds of passengers flood the same streets, the same taxis, the same restaurants. Prices surge, tempers rise, and the magic disappears. By the end, all you want is solid ground. Number 7. The cruise hidden burden. Here's something cruise lines never put in the brochures. It's not just passengers who suffer. The crew bears the heaviest weight. When storms reroute a voyage, communication from headquarters can go dark for hours. Crew members are left to calm guests, while managing their own fears. Some haven't spoken to family in days. Others are working 16-hour shifts because half the staff is seasick. They're professionals. They'll smile, serve drinks, and keep things running. But behind those smiles is exhaustion. I've watched baristas brace themselves against countertops as waves tilted the floor beneath them. I've seen housekeepers tying down carts so they wouldn't slide into walls. And through it all, management's mantra stays the same. Keep the experience positive. It's easy to complain when your vacation derails. It's harder when you realize the person serving your coffee hasn't slept in 2 nights. Because the ship's been fighting a storm. That's when it hit me. Hurricane season cruising isn't just risky, it's cruel. Number 8. The insurance mirage. Insurance feels like your last safety net and until you actually need it. Most travelers assume cruise insurance covers hurricanes. After all, it's a weather risk, right? But hidden inside those policy PDFs are exclusions so wide, you could sail a ship through them. You're covered if the cruise line cancels the trip. But if they alter it, if they skip ports, delay arrivals, or cut it short, sorry, that's not covered. Even cancel for any reason plans have asterisks. They might reimburse 50 to 75% at best, often in the form of future cruise credit, which means giving the same company another chance to disappoint you. And when you're stranded mid-ocean, File a claim doesn't mean much. The Wi-Fi's down, the hotline's jammed. You're out thousands, left with polite apologies and digital forms that vanish into silence. The harsh truth? Most cruise insurance policies are marketing tools. They exist to reassure, not to protect. You're buying comfort, not coverage. When I learned that, I stopped seeing insurance as peace of mind and started seeing it as a warning label. Number 9. How cruise lines still profit from your misfortune. This might be the darkest secret of all. When a hurricane reroutes a voyage, you'd think the cruise line loses money. Fewer excursions, refunds, chaos. Surely that hurts the bottom line. It doesn't. It boosts it. Here's how. Every extra sea day means passengers spend more on Wi-Fi, drinks, spa treatments, and casino chips. Retail sales spike when people are bored and trapped on board. The ship becomes a floating mall in a storm. Meanwhile, the ports they skip? Those are local businesses losing revenue, not the cruise line. The company saves on port fees, while onboard profits soar. In other words, when your vacation falls apart, they make more money. Think about that next time you see a storm season sale. You're not dodging disaster. You're funding it. Number 10. My personal breaking point. There's one night I'll never forget. The ship was deep in the Caribbean, winds howling, waves slamming against the hull. I was in the atrium, the grand heart of the vessel, when I saw crew members begin taping down the furniture. Chairs, tables, even the pianos, all secured like they were preparing for battle. The lights flickered. Glasses slid across the bar. Somewhere down the hall, someone screamed as the ship tilted again. And in that moment, watching passengers cling to railings while the staff pretended everything was under control, I realized something I'll never unsee. This isn't adventure. This is denial. That was the night I whispered to myself, never again. No deal, no discount. No marketing campaign is worth gambling with the ocean's moods. Because once you've felt a ship groan beneath you as it fights a storm, you understand you're not in control, you never were. Number 11. What cruise lines don't tell you about off-season deals. Let's pull back the curtain. Why do cruise lines need people to book during hurricane season in the first place? Because ships can't sit idle. Every empty cabin is lost revenue. And those floating cities burn cash whether they sail or not. So the industry turns risk into opportunity. They dangle irresistible deals to fill those cabins, not because it's safer, but because they need your money during the worst months. Internally, this is called balancing occupancy risk. Externally, it's sold as a limited-time tropical steal. It's not about giving you value. It's about keeping the engines running. You're helping them survive the slow season, even if it means sailing straight into the storm belt. And once you realize that, those glossy promotions stop looking generous and start looking desperate. Number 12. How to outsmart the storm season. Here's the good news. You don't have to swear off cruising forever. You just have to outsmart the calendar. If you love the Caribbean, aim for late April to early June, right before the season officially begins. You'll get great prices without peak risk. Prefer calmer seas. Try late November to mid-December, just after hurricane season ends but before the holiday surge. And always watch the weather models. Use apps like Windy, Ventiski, or the National Hurricane Center's tracker. If a storm's forming near your route, contact the cruise line immediately. Some will let you reschedule before it's too late. Also, build flexibility into your travel plan. Book flights with change protection. Choose hotels with free cancellation. Keep your luggage light enough to pivot if your port changes. And here's the insider move most people miss. Find a travel advisor who specializes in cruises, not just generic bookings. They often get internal weather alerts and can rebook faster when chaos hits. Before you book another cruise, double-check your dates. Number 13. When it's worth the risk, almost. To be fair, hurricane season isn't always a nightmare. There are rare moments when it makes sense, if you're flexible, adventurous, and willing to roll the dice. Some itineraries shift south, into the lower Caribbean, or even the Panama Canal, and where storms rarely reach. Others offer unique repositioning cruises from one region to another, with massive discounts for open-jaw travelers. And yes, there are thrill seekers who love the drama, the rolling waves, the adrenaline of dodging storms. For them, it's part of the story. But make no mistake, it's a calculated risk. If you're okay with missing ports, flying home late, or spending days at sea, then fine. Just don't pretend you didn't know what you signed up for. Because the ocean doesn't care about your itinerary, only your humility. Number 14. The bottom line. My rule for every future cruise. After everything I've seen, I live by one rule now. If it's hurricane season, I don't sail. Period. I'd rather pay more for peace of mind than gamble with uncertainty. I pick shoulder months, track forecasts, and book flexible itineraries. Because experience teaches you something marketing never will. A cruise is only paradise when it's predictable. When the sea turns against you, no discount can save the trip. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Don't let cruise marketing trick you into thinking you're clever for booking cheap. You're not beating the system, you're playing by their rules. And in hurricane season, the house always wins. Number 15. Bonus, the hurricane season survival blueprint. For those who have to cruise during storm months, maybe it's your only vacation window. Here's how to stack the odds in your favor. 1. Demand the right insurance clauses. Look for trip interruption coverage that includes weather disruptions, not just cancellations. Ask about coverage for port closures and missed connections. 2. Get the storm swap email ready. Before you sail, draft a polite template you can send if forecasts worsen, requesting rescheduling or partial credit. Having it ready means acting fast when others panic. 3. Track systems early. Install apps like MyRadar, Ventuski, or NHC Tracker. Set alerts for the Atlantic Basin. The moment a tropical depression forms, you'll know before the captain announces it. 4. Choose your ship wisely. Newer ships have stronger stabilization systems and better forecasting tech. Lines like Royal Caribbean's Quantum Class or Celebrity's Edge Class handle rough seas far better than older vessels. 5. Pack with purpose. Bring motion sickness meds, waterproof gear, and patience. The ocean rewards preparation, not panic. If you follow these steps, you won't just survive hurricane season. You'll master it. Because real travelers don't rely on luck. They rely on information. So, now you know. The truth behind the glossy ads, the hidden contracts, the chaos they don't show in the brochures. Cruise lines might sell you the dream of adventure during hurricane season, but once you've lived through it, you'll never fall for that illusion again. Don't let cruise marketing trick you into gambling with your vacation. Hit subscribe, because next week I'm exposing the free drinks myth and why your all-inclusive tab isn't what you think. I'm Bill, and this has been your inside look at the hidden world of cruising. Stay smart, stay curious, and stay out of hurricane season.